How will the NCR Plus bubble affect the business sector? To get his reaction, we have Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion. Mr. Concepcion, how do we frame this for our entrepreneurs, especially the small entrepreneurs who had been looking forward to a reopening of the economy, but now cannot deny the dire situation we are in? What's in store for the next 2 weeks? How do we brace them, and what should they expect?
Well, the way I see it is that there's no choice. I mean, we are seeing this infection rise up to about 8,000. And in reality, it's very difficult to balance lives and livelihoods. The moment you tilt towards one, like lives, livelihoods are affected and vice versa. But for us, at this point in time, that is the only way forward until the vaccines do arrive in the second quarter, and most of these vaccines will arrive in the third quarter. So we will have to hold on tight and try to manage as I know many micro and small entrepreneurs, especially in the tourism side, are expecting to take a bump during the Holy Week. But of course, the best time to really do this modified type of lockdown is at this point in time, because Holy Week, everybody is on break. So you actually save 1 week, basically. So the real effect here is just 1 week of economic, what do you call this, movement, but of course, Holy Week, the tourism sector benefits from that because everybody goes to the provinces and all of that, and that will somehow affect whether it's allowed or not allowed. There's so much confusion already, so people just refrain, just stay home.
Speaking of what's allowed, not allowed, speaking of vaccines, you mentioned vaccines. You are the front part as well of the tripartite agreement with government and the private sector. And the private sector has been calling for more relaxed rules to allow them to purchase vaccines directly. Is there clarity on that point now?
Yes, I'd like to clarify that without government allowing the private sector to buy the vaccines through the tripartite agreement. Remember, these vaccines are under Emergency Use Authority, EUA. The vaccines have to be under the custody of the government, basically the DOH. They're the ones in charge of implementing. And we have made arrangements that as we purchase these vaccines, the AstraZeneca group of donors donated 100%, but 50%, 100%, but 50% has been agreed that it will go back to our frontline workers. In the case of Moderna, Novavax, and the new one that we're introducing, Covaxin, the government does not require any more donations. So in a way, that's good. But then again, these vaccines have to be brought in by the government as well under the tripartite. So our group started with the help of Secretary Gautas, putting this tripartite to enable the private sector to actually access the vaccine. And by the way, the pharmaceutical companies will not sell the vaccines to the private sector directly because they will not have protection. They will not have indemnity. So the tripartite covers for indemnification, also protecting the pharmaceutical companies and protecting the private sector as well. This is supplemented now by the law that was enacted, and it covers now. It's now embodied in this law. And so I'd like to correct the impression that government is holding and not allowing private sector to buy vaccines. That is not correct. The government actually, together with the first group that we created, was a tripartite agreement. Without that tripartite agreement, then the vaccine procurement from the private sector will not be possible.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Joey Concepcion.